Okay, day 2, weight distribution hitch is hooked up. So let's check our measurements. All right, so our front is 36 3/4, and our rear is about 36 1/2. So what that means is the front is 1/4 of an inch higher than the rear after weight distribution. So what does this all mean? People have been asking in chat. So one of the questions was, what is rake? So rake, when there's no load, Tundras sit a little bit higher in the back. They're jacked up or have rake. That was an old hot rod term back in the 70s and 80s. And they have about 2 inches of rake, meaning 2 inches higher in the back if you measure from the ground to the fender on the front and the rear. 2-inch difference. So right now we're sitting almost level, 1/4 of an inch difference between the front and the rear. So the rake is gone. So we've used the 2 inches of rake that the suspension provides plus 1/4 of an inch. That's what the weight distribution number ends up telling you. So what does all this mean? Not really much. It's just, these are just visual indicators of what the weight distribution hitch can do. I'm not using any airbags. I'm not using any helper springs, bump stops, RAS, none of that. This is a stock Tundra with a weight distribution hitch hooked up to the trailer. The reason it works for me and everything's nice and level is because the trailer loaded tongue weight, the cargo, the people, when we load it in, all of that ends up being within the towing specs and the payload capacity of my truck. And keep in mind, we're 1/4 inch taller in front, but when you load myself and my wife into the truck, which we're not in there right now, it's probably at par. So we're probably perfectly level. Other than that, the real telltale metrics are you within your payload capacity? Tundra's payload capacities are so low in most cases. This is 1550, which is pretty high for Tundras, but a lot of them are 1,200 pounds. That doesn't leave you a lot. If you have a 900-pound hitch weight, that leaves you 300 pounds for any cargo you load in and adds weight to the hitch weight. The weight of the distribution hitch counts against payload, whatever you put in your bed, people, pets, and cargo in the car. Most people who are pulling a trailer of this size who don't have 1,500 pounds of payload capacity are over their payload capacity. Towing capacity with Tundras is not a problem because this is a loaded, let's just say 6,400 pound trailer, and I'm right at payload capacity. So this can tow a 10,000 pound trailer, but it doesn't have the payload capacity to safely load it onto that hitch and head down the road. So I think that was the only point of this. The real metric you want to know is your payload capacity spec and how your axle weight is distributed. And we've cat scaled this many times, and it's a very nice spec. Rides very nice. A lot of other specs to consider, but the other one is the gross combined vehicle weight of these two together. That's loaded. So the weight rating on the truck is 6,900 pounds. The weight rating on the trailer is 6,933. So 13,880-ish combined pounds. And this truck, if I max it out at 6,900 pounds, this one at max 6,933 puts me 200 pounds under the 14,000 maximum for this two-wheel drive model. But typically this is weighing in about 6,100 pounds, which puts me at 13,000 pounds, about 1,000 pounds under the combined vehicle weight rating. So that's the other last spec you want to look at, is make sure your trailer is not too heavy for your truck, or your truck can't carry the combined weight of both truck and trailer. And I think that's all I have for the moment. So again, this is kind of a meaningless spec measuring things, but it does give you a picture of, if you set everything up properly, you should be sitting mostly level with the truck, using the rake to take on the payload. I think the other thing that has come up is show or tow. A lot of people, when they have nothing connected to it and they don't like the rake, they raise the front so it looks level. Well, what that does is it shifts the towing geometry a bit because you lifted the front, and so things change. And then when you go to load it, you don't have the rake, so then it sags even more. So when you lift in the front and then you drop a heavy trailer on the back, it's going to look like sag almost all the time, even with the weight distribution hitch applied. Quickly recap the numbers. When we had no load whatsoever, just the truck by itself, there was a 2-inch rake, meaning the back end was 2 inches higher than the front end. When we loaded cargo, but no weight distribution hitch still, we had a 37, well, under load with cargo, 37 1/4 in the front, 36 1/4 in the back. So we ate up all of that 2 inches of rake plus another inch, roughly. So about 3 inches of drop in the back. And then when we applied the weight distribution hitch, we're just about dead even. So we gained back that inch that we dropped in the back. So basically we ended up only consuming the 2 inches of rake. So I hope that helps everybody at least understand the visuals of all this. Anyway, if you agree or disagree, feel free to comment below, and look forward to more videos.